Welcome to Shadowed Realms, Unveiling the Dark Lore, a deep dive into the hidden depths of video games, movies, and anime where light rarely dares to venture. From the cryptic symbolism of a haunted video game world to the twisted backstories of iconic characters, we'll analyze the dark narratives that shape these immersive universes. Expect a mix of thoughtful analysis, historical context, and an occasional deep dive into the psychological and philosophical themes that these stories explore. But this series isn't just about the spooky surface level stuff. We'll also look to the cultural and psychological and artistic reasons why these dark themes resonate with audiences and what they say about us as people. Buckle up, because these things are about to get creepy and maybe even a little introspective. Are you ready to step into the shadows? Let's go. Welcome to Myth and Lores, a journey into the dark and divine. Without further ado, let's jump into another lore. BioShock Infinite is a game rich with symbolism, philosophical questions, and a labyrinth of intertwined plot lines. At its core, it takes place in a floating city called Columbia and follows Booker DeWitt, a man seeking to rescue a woman named Elizabeth. The game explores themes of free will, destiny, American exceptionalism, and the consequences of a utopian society. One of the central themes of BioShock Infinite is the idea of fate and the cycles of history that repeat themselves. The game explores this through the concept of tears and the fabric of reality. These tears allow for glimpses into alternate realities and timelines, showing that the event of Booker and Elizabeth's journey are preordained in many realities, but also that their choices can impact their future and past. The concept of Booker and Elizabeth being present in multiple universes represents the constant battle between free will and the cyclical nature of history. No matter how many realities exist, the endings suggest that certain events will always occur. American exceptionalism and nationalism. Columbia, the floating city where BioShock Infinite takes place, is heavily inspired by American ideals, but it's a distorted vision. The city is ruled by a charismatic leader, Comstock, who claims to have a divine mandate to bring about an American utopia. His vision of America is one rooted in white supremacy, extreme nationalism, and authoritarianism. Through this setting, the game critiques the dark side of American exceptionalism, exposing the hypocrisy and dangers of an idealized vision of a nation. The concept of identity and redemption. Booker DeWitt's journey is ultimately about redemption, though his path towards it is far from clear. Booker is revealed to be a tortured man who has tried to escape his past through the act of selling his soul. His role in the game is deeply tied to his past as a soldier in the Battle of Wounded Knee, where his actions haunt him. This guilt manifests in his desire to escape and start fresh in Columbia. Elizabeth is a key figure in his search for redemption, and their relationship reflects how identity and past actions shape the future. The nature of free will and choice. BioShock Infinite is essentially a philosophical exploration of free will and choice, a central theme in the BioShock series. In the game's world, a mysterious figure called the Lutici twins talks about the possibility of multiple versions of Booker existing in alternate realities, suggesting that decisions are not always purely based on free will. By the time you reach the end, the game indicates that Booker's actions are inevitable. He is trapped in an unbreakable cycle. The ending and its symbolism. The ending of BioShock Infinite is undoubtedly one of the most complex and thought-provoking conclusions in modern gaming. The final revelation of the game ties together the entire series and adds layers of meanings to its narrative. In the final moments, the game reveals that Booker DeWitt and Zachary Hale Comstock are the same person. They are two alternate versions of the same man. Booker, after his role in the Wounded Knee Massacre, attempts to redeem himself by selling his soul and rejecting the name of Comstock. Still, in one reality, he chooses to accept his past, leading to the creation of the tyrannical Comstock, who goes on to build the dystopian society of Columbia. In another reality, Booker chooses to resist and reject this path. However, both of these versions of Booker are fated to exist. This revelation underscores one of the game's most significant points: the idea that Booker cannot escape this past, and no matter how many realities there are, he is condemned to the same cycle. The game explores identity and how a person's choices, particularly in the moments of guilt or trauma, determine who they are. The fact that Booker and Comstock exist as alternate versions of the same person speaks to the infinite possibilities of identity, underscoring the inevitability of their tragic fates. Elizabeth's role is even more crucial to the ending. She is the key of breaking the cycle of history. By the end of the game, it's revealed that she is not merely a person with the ability to open tears and reality. She is also connected to the cycle of Booker and Comstock. Elizabeth, at different points, was born from different decisions Booker made. She is shown to have the power to manipulate time and space, which also ties into the game's exploration of destiny and the consequences of individual actions across timelines. In the game's final moments, Elizabeth leads Booker to the ultimate realization that their existence is part of an unending loop. This climatic moment in the final scene, where Booker is drowned as a child by a mysterious figure, who is later revealed to be Elizabeth herself, an older version, symbolizes the need to end this vicious cycle. Elizabeth's actions signify her attempt to stop the flow of time and allow Booker to pay the price for his sins, which is necessary to create the ending. The infinite nature of the multiverse. The final scene, where Booker is drowned, creates a sense of closure to the narrative. It is a dramatic and symbolic act meant to end the cycle. However, it also opens up the idea that the multiverse, a core game component, is infinite. It is suggested that through the final choice, the cycle of Booker and Comstock may be broken, but at the cost of Booker's life. An interpretation suggests that Elizabeth and Booker's actions may have created an infinite number of possible timelines, with new versions of Booker and Elizabeth appearing in every one. The ending feels bittersweet, suggesting that while one timeline may end, the multiverse ensures that others may be created. BioShock Infinite is a profound commentary on the nature of history, identity, and the eternal struggle between fate and free will. The ending is tragic, yet redemptive, as it highlights the idea that no matter what choices we make, the past, the present, and the future are all interconnected in ways we may not fully understand. It questions the notion of true redemption and suggests that some actions, particularly those tied to deep guilt and trauma, are nearly impossible to escape. The game's symbolism runs deep, from the use of Columbia itself as a metaphor for a distorted, idealized America to the many layers of Booker and Elizabeth's intertwined fates. The ending ultimately forces players to confront their understanding of choice, destiny, and whether it's possible to escape one's past truly. That concludes this lore. If you like what you heard, please like, comment, and subscribe, and stay tuned for the next lore. Bye.